What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MSTR today, MicroStrategy. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. It is the 8th day of September. We've actually just closed out the day. After hours, you're up a little bit. You're up like 10 cents. $329 right now. Last week did close up. Okay, cool. You closed 0.44% to the upside. That's nice. Is that true? Is that real? Did you really? Yeah, you did. Okay, for some reason I thought you closed lower. That's nice. Couple of gaps here and there, definitely getting sporadic. People seem to be giving up on MSTR. You know what? I'm curious. We haven't looked at this in a while. Let's look at our open interest. Let's look at the options charts, man. We haven't looked at this in a while. You know, hindsight is 2020, and throughout this whole time frame, the longs, the calls were outweighing the puts dramatically, and that should have told us that we were going to consolidate for a while. I would have never imagined it would be this long, but hopefully when we're looking at this, the calls are diminished compared to the puts. Let's just see, okay. Strategy. It says MicroStrategy there, though. You see, we got the MicroStrategy logo. What's the new logo? Why are you taking so long to load, though? New logo. Why are you taking so long to load, though? I don't know. I don't know, though. I don't know you. Open interest by strike. Let's go calls and puts. We want this here. Yes. View all expiries. Oh, that's not a good look. Yeah. View all expiries. That's not a good look because it looks like the calls still outweigh the puts dramatically, you guys. That's not a good look. That's exactly what we were talking about, right? Where has my call to puts gone? And why, oh, why won't it load? I don't understand why this is so slow. Oh, this page is slowing down Firefox. To speed up your browser, stop this page or clap your hands. Come on! You're making this bad for my video. All right, here we are. Yeah, the calls outweigh the put. That's a lot, you guys. Damn. That is a lot. Going into the end of the month, the puts outweigh the calls, but again, these will get rolled over. We need the puts to outweigh the calls before we really start to move up. So as long as people keep keep longing this thing, it will stay stagnant. There are a dramatic amount of calls that are put out there, right? So going into the end of the year too, it looks a little bit more even, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. MSTR, looking at it here, I would think from a high to a low. Nope, that was not the high. We went just above it. High to a low, looking at it. I don't know. I would think that's a good area to find support in all honesty. Sometimes when you reject the 786, oftentimes enough, you do go back to your 236, but you also find support at the 382 as well. Let's see. Let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll look at some indicators and see what we can find. Okay, looking at the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame here. RSI is bearish. I would think we come down. Stochastics is bearish. I would think we come down. The MACD is right at a point to reject. I would think we come down. Yes. A little bit lower. Maybe we're just up after hours because Bitcoin moved up a little bit after hours. Not after hours for Bitcoin, but for MSTR. 3 hour time frame, rejecting the 50. So bearish. Yeah, you're probably going to come lower. So I very much doubt that is the low. Not the 4 hour. We don't need the 4 hour. I had a buddy who was trying to give me crap about TA, and he was using the 4 hour time frame on stocks. I'm like, the 4 hour, why would you use the 4 hour? The 3 hour makes much more sense. The 1 hour, the 45-minute even, but the 4 hour, there's not 8 hours in the stock day, right? Like it doesn't make as much sense. Use the 3 hour, man. Isn't it like 7.5 hours in the stock day? Anyways, looking at this here, right? Because we're looking at this. Hold on. I just want to be clear. Let's see. Yeah, because here, 1930, 1330, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 7 hours. Anyways, I thought it was 7.5 for some reason, but I got that wrong. Anyways, looking at this on the daily time frame now. Clearly, I'm a crypto guy. I should know that the stock market has like whatever X amount of hours in a day. I knew it was less than 8. I didn't know that it was strictly 7. Of course, pre-market and then after hours as well. But looking at the stochastics here, that's pretty bearish. That's a very bearish look. The MACD is bearish as well. You do have some bullish momentum, but or bullish divergence building, but I'm really not impressed. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I'm really not impressed at all. I think you keep building lower, man. If you were to find support here, you would have done it already. And this move up, this was it, I think. That was it. And now you're going to come back down to the downside here. RSI looks like it wants to dip into the oversold zone before you move up higher. So let's project that out. We'll take this low to high, okay? Now that we've got our heading, We've got our configurations, low to high here. Yeah, $309. We'll see you down there. 309, you just might break $300 and go down to 290 to 282, somewhere in that zone. You break $300, that'll be psychologically destructive. Oh no, $300 broke, now we're going to zero, but really it's still a higher low. Really, it's not a problem at all. Really, if we're looking at this from an overall low to an overall high, that puts you right in your golden ratio zone and maybe just below there still. It's a perfect area to find support. It's really not that big of a deal. So lower, lower. I hate to break it to you, but lower, you guys. That's probably what we have to do. And again, I think until we clear out a lot of these calls, till it's different, right? Because this call to put ratio has been favoring the calls, right? We've been call dominant this whole entire time. And this right here, we were actually put dominant here and there. Not the whole time all the way up, but for a good bit there, right? At various points. Where throughout this whole time, largely we've been call dominant, right? Call dominant this whole time. I wonder what that means. That means people are going long. That means people expect this thing to move up, right? Until people capitulate and we start to see some more shorts piling on, it's going to keep happening, right? Till MSTR, till Michael Saylor's not able to hit the ATM anymore, I think this thing's going to keep being stagnant, unfortunately. I didn't think those ATM sales would impact the price the way it is, but he's a man on a mission, man. He literally, and he's publicly said it, he doesn't care about the price of the stock. The price of the stock will appreciate. It will reflect the reserves that they're acquiring in Bitcoin. They're more concerned. They're not concerned with the stock price. They're concerned with how much Bitcoin they can acquire. And they will absolutely acquire Bitcoin at the expense of the stock. And if you're a long-term investor, you'll get the payouts. But if you're a short-term investor, it's boring. It's boring. It's very, very boring. But on the bright side to that, there is a bright side, my friends. The bright side is you have more time to accumulate. You have more time to buy. You have cheaper prices to buy. And this thing undoubtedly will see higher prices. Undoubtedly it will. It's a very bullish chart. We look at it overall. You zoom out to the weekly time frame. It's an extremely bullish chart. You have a phenomenal uptrend, right? Absolutely phenomenal. And we're coming to this trend line here. Saylor, he's been in the stock world for a long time. He knows market dynamics, and I think this trend line is going to hold. I don't really like diagonal trend lines. I think that they're kind of false hope at times, but we could come down to this trend line, or enough time consolidates. We could come down to this trend line. It's October. We could even break through it, and right there, that would be the clear signal that it's time to buy and go. Right, something like that. Maybe hit these lows, double bottom, whatever. I think that this trend overall is very bullish, and we're getting to the point where maybe not now, but in a month or so, we're going to be at a make it or break it moment where I think we will make it. And whenever we send it higher, just in relevance to this last move here and this last move right here, in respect to those, I would expect we see a stronger move as you typically do as the cycle continues. I'm going to delete this one here real quick. We don't need that up. But if we compare these two moves here just roughly, I drew them roughly, that should take us to anything from about $1,000 or more. And if we look at this from a all-time high last cycle, or the cycle high to the cycle low last cycle, that puts us right in our 1886200 area, which is $1,000 to $1,300, right? And we should see those prices by the end of the year, absolutely by the end of the year. I'm surprised they haven't happened yet, but again, hindsight's 2020. It makes sense that we haven't seen them because Michael Saylor has been holding the price back. Whenever that stops, overall very bullish configuration. Whenever that stops, whenever he stops hitting the ATM, and we're just letting this thing rally, it'll have no problem getting to that. It wants to get up here to $1,000 to $1,300. It really wants to get up here. It wants to get up higher than that even. I think by the end of the cycle, we're going to see it at like $2,400 or more. But time will tell. We'll see, right? And again, the expectation here is that these movements, whenever comparing it to these movements here, this would take you to this range. I'm thinking this next move will be stronger than the last two moves. It's very possible that by the end of the year we're at $2,400, not just $900 to $1,300, right? Not just $1,000 to $1,300. We could very well be at $2,400. And if it's not the end of this year, maybe it's the beginning of next year. But I do expect MSTR to top off before Bitcoin, as it did last cycle. I think a lot of people are expecting that. That's why some people think that it's already the top's already in, right? But if we're looking at this here, February 2021. Is whenever it topped. Bitcoin topped in November. The bear market started at the same time as Bitcoin, but you topped off well before. February to November, that's a seven month gap. I don't think it's going to be 7 months. I think it'll be half that time or less. I'm personally thinking it'll be like a 3 month or less time frame, like a quarter year or less time frame that MSTR tops off before. I'm anticipating Bitcoin tops off in April or May. So with that, I would think December or January would be whenever MSTR tops off. So you got a lot of time left. You don't need a lot of time to move up a good amount in price. And I think that you've been held back so much. This has been a very long and tight consolidation phase here that when you do move up, you're going to have no problem moving up to these exceptional prices, well above $1,000, if not even above $2,000. So again, as sad as it is that you're still in these areas, the silver lining there is you just had more time to accumulate. And on that note as well, I think that anybody who's going long here or having calls that are short term, you're the ones that are probably getting wrecked the most right now, right? I would have never guessed back here in December of 2024 that we'd still be here at these same prices in August 2025, but here we are. It is what it is, and I would very much expect that we do continue to rally here in a very short amount of time. But I got nothing else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.